This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Boxing, where two competitors come face to face in the ring in the quest for glory and accolades. Africa has in the past produced some of the world's best pugilists, but as with most other sporting disciplines, many struggle to sustain themselves through this fighting discipline. On Sports Scene tonight, we bring you stories of boxing from the continent, from the female fighters punching their way to equality in Egypt, to the South African IBO champion taking to the skies as a first responder. Hello and a very warm welcome to you wherever you're joining us. This is Sports Scene here on CGTN Africa, where we bring you all things African sport from the continent and beyond. I'm Mahia Mutua in Nairobi, also coming up. Women step into the ring in Egypt as they punch their way to equality in the sport. And we tell you about the extra milers who are boosting the profile of cycling in Kenya. Welcome to the program. We kick things off in Nigeria. The country used to be home to some of the best boxers on the continent, but in recent years, the sport has taken a nosedive with the country's last Olympic medal in boxing coming at the 1996 Games. However, one young Nigerian boxer is aiming to change the narrative for the sport in Nigeria. CGTN's Deji Badmus gets us started.
It may be far from ideal, but this makeshift boxing gym could be on the verge of producing Nigeria's first Olympic medalist in boxing in the last 24 years. 24-year-old Abdul Hafiz Oshoba is the current national champion in the 69-kilogram welterweight. He's also ranked second in the weight category in Africa and 10th in the world. Oshoba has several medals to his name, including a silver medal in the last All-Africa Games in Morocco. He's seeking to add an Olympic medal to his collection.
My dream is to be an Olympic medalist, but my aim is to win a gold medal. Although we were preparing for the Olympic qualification earlier this year, but unfortunately we were unable to go for the qualification due to one thing or the other. But now we are preparing for the World Olympic qualification in qualifiers in Paris.
He's driving himself very hard at training to scale the hurdles at the qualifiers. But the obvious most difficult challenge he must overcome is the lack of proper training facilities. They're punching these tires because they do not have enough punching bags. Oshoba's raw strength and skills are mainly his staying power so far.
I face a lot of challenges as a boxer, but the major challenges is the facility where we train. We don't have a good facility, we don't have a good boxing equipment here. We improvise. We are not supposed to be punching the tire, but we improvise.
Despite the very difficult circumstance under which he trains, Oshoba and his coach are optimistic he would eventually make it to the Olympics and achieve his dream.
I'm looking forward to get a ticket at the World Olympic qualifiers, so I could get a ticket to the Olympics to represent my country, Nigeria, and to wave the flag of Nigeria at the Olympics.
I am very confident that he will get the ticket at the Olympics qualifier. I have no fear at all. He has won several fights against very formidable opponents. That is why I am confident he will make it to the Olympics and even win the gold medal.
It's a tough road ahead to actualizing his dream, but Oshoba seems as determined as the hard punches he's throwing here. Deji Badmus, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.
Christine Ongare is a Kenyan boxer who took up the sport as a backup to football. Her journey into the squared circle has seen her become the second female Kenyan boxer to qualify for the Olympic Games. Here is CGTN's Wanja Mungai with more.
The Kenyan boxing team are hard at training at the AV Fitness Gym in Nairobi. Amongst the men is 2 females, one of them being Christine Ongare, the only Kenyan female boxer who has qualified for the Tokyo Olympic Games. The day's session is one that focuses on strength and conditioning under the stewardship of Coach Musa Benjamin.
Training is not all about working hard. It's about being smart in how you train and doing things in accordance with the changes that take place in your particular sport. So in our last Olympic qualifiers, we managed to prepare Ongare as well as the other ladies in the team. In fact, we were eyeing to qualify more than 2. We had managed to prepare the team in regards to the changes of the ever-evolving sport of boxing. So that is what we drilled into them, and of course, with God's will, she managed to qualify.
Elizabeth Adiengo became the first Kenyan female boxer to grace the Olympic Games when she qualified for the 2012 London Games. That trailblazing moment lit a fire in Ongare as she tried to emulate her idol.
It has always been my dream to compete into an Olympic competition since 2012 when Elizabeth and Diego went for Olympics. Whereby when she was coming out of Kasarani, she called me. They were passing by, they used Outer Ring Road. And when I went there, the thing that she gave me a flag of Kenya. Whereby deep down in my heart, I told her good luck, but deep down in my heart, I said to God that I believe that one day I will also be an Olympian and I will wish to participate in the Olympics.
For Slum Girls, there isn't much in terms of options for sports one can engage in. And for Ongare, she got into boxing after trying out 2 other sports.
Before I was a footballer, then something just went wrong. I had to sit aside, whereby when I came back, I wanted to be an acrobat. But within acrobat, we have a set of numbers, whereby the number was full. That's whereby I met, there was this, he's called Coach Priest. He deals with Box Girls Organization. That's where I went, and when he talked to me and convinced me that it doesn't matter that I wanted acrobatic, I can turn into boxing. That is where I began. Therefore, I trained there for almost 1 year. After that, I quitted and began out training in Kariobangi, whereby I have been playing for Hedmusi, which is at Kariobangi.
Ongare has been in the sport for well over a decade now, and she has had her fair share of challenges.
You have to be patient, and nothing comes on a silver plate. You have to work hard for it. Because for me to reach this far, I have undergone many coaches and I have played for many clubs. And it has been my patience and prayers, because there are many things blocking your ways, there are many discouragements, but if you don't take heart, if I could not have taken heart, I could have left it on the way.
Ongare's dream is to medal at the Olympics and in the process become the first Kenyan woman to do so in boxing. And with the postponement of the Games, she now has more time to prepare to challenge for one in Tokyo in 2021. Wanja Mungai, CGTN.
Kevin Lerena is taking to the skies as an emergency chopper pilot after obtaining his private license. The reigning world IBO cruiserweight champion has been using the downtime during the COVID-19 pandemic to acquire new skills and play a bigger role as a first responder. CGTN CS Duplessis takes up the story.
One of the privileges of my job is to see what athletes do behind the scenes, and it's my pleasure to welcome IBO cruiserweight world champion Kevin Lerena. What is now an evolution of Kevin Lerena, from world champion, which you still are, and we hope that continues, to helicopter pilot. Tell us a bit more what's going on, Kevin.
It was a pleasure, thanks. Yes, like you said, an evolution, but for me this was just a childhood dream, and through boxing and the network that I managed to gain, I've been fortunate enough to become a private pilot and work here on my commercial license, and here's where we are now, flying helicopters in my spare time and boxing in my other time. Obviously boxing is my main priority right now. I take nothing away that I'm an IBO Cruiserweight World Champion. I need to stay the World Champion and further myself in boxing, but let's not forget that there's life after boxing, and here's where it starts.
I mean, you've got this passion for saving lives. I mean, you're a paramedic, and now you're taking it to the next level. Is that kind of where you want to be, is airlifting people in life and death situations and playing your part?
Most definitely. I think in life we need to know, when we leave this earth, did we make a difference to one person? Then it counts, So being in this kind of setting, the emergency setting, it is a goal to fly HEMS for net care and to work on an air ambulance. Obviously you need a lot of hours for that, but I'm willing to do that, and that's the time I'm willing to put in, because this has been a childhood dream of mine.
What's next on the cards for you in terms of the boxing? I believe that obviously you want to unify, you want to make the move up to heavyweight. What does the plan look forward?
So I've been offered the IBF Eliminator against Jay Opatar from Australia. That's option 1. Option 2, I've been offered the WBA world title against Ryan Murray in Belgium. Option 3, to defend my Cruiserweight world title in December in Norway. Obviously this all depends on the lockdown rules for the European countries, for us, but tentatively speaking, I'll be in the ring November, December, either for a new belt or defending my IBO. Either way, I'm hungry, I'm ready to go now, my knuckles are itchy.
What's the thinking behind making the move up to heavyweight? I mean, you look like you're comfortable walking around in cruiser. Is it a weight cut thing? What is it, a more power thing?
Definitely a weight cut thing. You do sacrifice a little bit of power. I walk around 100 kilos, so call it 225 pounds. Cruiserweight limits 200 pounds, 90 kilograms. So I do pull a lot of weight. However, if you've done everything you can at cruiserweight and you've become the cruiserweight unified world champion, the only next thing is to go up to heavyweight. You might be a small heavyweight at 6'1", but hey, if you're cashing in, it doesn't matter. And sometimes skills will pay the bills. If you've got skills and your skill set's high enough, you're going to pose any problem to any big man.
I mean, Mike Tyson wasn't the biggest heavyweight. Look how he dominated. So, lastly, from my side, give us an idea of what it's like when you take off in that bird and you're in the sky. Because I think there's exhilaration when you win a title and you beat an opponent. But how does it compare to when you're in the chopper?
I firmly say, when you walk to the ring in a big world championship fight, when you hold the belt up, when they announce your name in victory, it's a surreal feeling that it's very hard to describe. The same for this.
Good luck. We hope the lockdown is lifted so we can see you in action again.
Thank you, CS, and it's always great talking to you.
Kevin Lerena, 25-1-0, and with very exciting fights. Hopefully we'll see him unify the cruiserweight division.
And it's time for us to take a short break here on Sports Scene. Here's what's coming up. Women step into the ring in Egypt as they punch their way to equality in the sport.
Africa is a continent of diversity, with varied climates and enchanting geography, and a people so distinct, but with a shared enduring spirit. We are at the heart of the continent to bring you the untold stories.
Let's have a look.
We celebrate Africa as it shapes its own destiny.
Tunis, Cairo,
Juba,
Johannesburg, Ethiopia, Tanzania.
Africa Live. Find your voice.
How would you create your legend? On the fields, on the tracks, in the arenas of Africa. Were you born to be a player? Could this moment be yours? Sports Scene. Find your game.
Welcome back. Now, male Egyptian boxers have achieved remarkable ranks in Africa and across the world. However, the same cannot be said for female boxing, unfortunately. Al Tersana Club has the oldest women's boxing team in Egypt, and lately they've been building up a growing team of female fighters. Here is CGTN's Adel Makhroui with more.
While boxing has been facing resistance among female players, Al Tersana here has been way ahead of its Egyptian competitors. The club has built an arsenal of women boxers that have now become the hope for the country's future in the sport.
The club's mission is to build children, boys or girls. Through sports, they learn to accept each other. In Al Tersana, we believe in women empowerment through sports. Teaching the girls self-defense sports builds their character.
None of Egypt's most recognized clubs in football have a women boxing team. Al Tersana, however, has never lost hope for the sport to flourish. The club has built a team of 60 young women whom it hopes to be the foundation for the Egyptian national team.
We had a culture crisis. Egyptians didn't want their girls to play boxing. Parents and girls get scared. It's a girl and she will get hit in the face or get injured. That is hard to accept. But in the past 3 years, this has been changing. We have been working with kids from a very young age. We raise them and shape their understanding about the sport.
To build this big team of women boxers, Al Tersana utilized its 100 years of experience to make the sport appealing for women. After joining the team, the ladies have become advocates for changing their friends' perspective about the sport.
The sport gave me great confidence. It made me try different things in life. I'm no longer afraid. I can walk with confidence in the street even at night. I'm a girl and I can go out at night on my own.
I was very fat. When I joined college, I weighed 100 kilograms. I wanted to lose weight and I heard boxing does that. Once I started, I fell in love and couldn't let go of the sport. I began to lose weight and now I'm a champion.
I made a lot of my friends join the boxing team. If they don't want to play sports, I convince them that at least they'll learn to defend themselves.
Egypt has not joined women boxing in the last 2 African competitions. The country didn't even consider fighting for a ticket for the Tokyo Olympics. But that is about to change. With utter focus, each of these girls now has a dream. They want to become the first to represent Egypt in the Olympics, and it seems nothing can stand in their way to pursue that dream. Adel Makhroui, CGTN, Cairo.
Well, sport is increasingly being used as a tool to help young people in South Africa build resilience against drugs, crime and violence. Fight with Insight, a successful boxing program in Johannesburg, is also helping to produce amateur champions. CGTN's Julie Shire has more.
Surviving Johannesburg's notorious inner city was tough for Lucky Nsambo before he joined Fight with Insight. It's an initiative that gives young people an escape.
The crime and drugs rates and activities that are happening in the city, they are very high. It's something that we cannot get away from. It's been happening for years, even before I came to the inner city. Most of our kids that come through, they've been in contact with either a drug lord or have either sold drugs or used drugs.
Nsambo is one of many amateur boxing champions produced by the program.
We have a lot of boxers here that have achieved nationwide and world titles, like myself. I have given an opportunity to travel overseas to the favelas in Brazil. So I had an opportunity to box that side and won my fight. And most of our achievements are from our national boxers that have gone through championships, and they've also gone to represent us in other countries.
I've been African champion, 2-time SA champion in the amateurs, and I've been in Northern Africa, Southern Africa, becoming the best boxer. So I became 2-time SA champion when I was a youth boxer. So elite, I became number 2 in South Africa.
Boxing teaches everyday survival techniques, but also builds mental and physical strength.
Right with Insight, it changed my life because it managed to take me away from the streets, from street fighting. It made me a better person because now kids in the street, they look up to me. They know that you can still be well known and be popular for doing good things.
So like teaching these young people the art of boxing that I also acquired from the gym, I feel like it's a generation after generation foundation that we're trying to create. And it also gives me most of my pride because I'm a female having to coach boys and groom boys.
Fight with Insight is helping Johannesburg inner city youth build their self-confidence while keeping them off the streets. But less than 50 kilometers from here, children in Tsakani Township are also getting the same chance.
The kids are in the streets. This time they are not right. Others are smoking, stealing everything. That's why I said no. Those they want to train at boxing, they can come and attend the gym.
My coach Charles teaches me how to protect myself at all times. And I like going to this gym because I love boxing a lot.
Boxing is one of many sporting codes being used to empower South African youth to become model citizens and stay away from trouble. Julie Shara, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Well, it's time for us to take another short break. Here's what's coming up. We tell you all about the extra milers who are boosting the profile of cycling in Kenya. Now, growing up, many young Africans cycle just for fun. In recent years, however, many have been riding in the hopes of getting into the mainstream sport. In Kenya, cycling clubs like the Extra Milers are looking to change the views on cycling. CGTN's Chaumgono reports.
Riding in Nairobi is considered hectic by many, and rightfully so. However, for Extra Milers, a cycling club based in Nairobi, they hope to change lives, one pedal at a time.
We are primarily a charity, hobby cyclist and charity. We do tours every year and we've been doing this for 6 years now. This would have been our 7th, but due to COVID, the tour is not happening this year, but we hope to do that next year. So we do that every end of the year. We do a multi-day tour to raise funds for kids and to take them through school.
Despite the club being amateur, their operation has made the group feel like a pro cycling team. An image that has seen them grow over the years.
We are a church-based team from ICC, International Christian Center, and we operate in the sense of we are more of an adventure team. So in our recruitment process, we just ask you if you have a bike, and if you have a bike, you're easy to join. Then once you join, from there it's more of a flow process.
Extra Milers have experienced steady growth since the inception in 2014. However, over the past few months, just like many sports across the continent, the cycling club has felt the pinch due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
This year, maybe the one setback is that we usually do an end-of-year tour, which is usually around 400, 500 kilometers. And that is basically what I'd actually prepared for the most. But then again, now when COVID basically came in, that already meant that our gatherings, first of all, we were already a church-based group. So once the church were closed, so even us, we also had to disband. So we could be doing solo ride, or maybe 1 or 2 people to basically pair up.
Earlier on in the year, we had great hopes. We were going for the Aberdonian expedition, and it was going to be a lot of climbing for those 4 days that we were going to be there. So there was a lot of sights set into the training and what we would achieve. So we did a few group rides, and then we had the lockdown. Now the lockdown came with its own ramifications, whereby we were now confined within the Nairobi area, and that it's a busy area. There's a lot of traffic, and cycling in such roads is chaotic and sometimes actually hazardous.
In 2020, cycling seems to have been an escape for many. And for cyclists like Joanne Misere, this might be a chance to get more ladies to join the sport.
I'd encourage more people, especially the women, to cycle, because we are trying to break all these gender stereotypes that have been erected around cycling when it comes to women.
As the Extra Milers continue with the cycling journey, they can only hope for things to get back to normal, so they can continue the normal cycling while helping the less fortunate. Chaumgono, CGTN.
And over the decades, what was once the most common means of transportation has evolved to a competition discipline at the Olympic Games. However, not all cyclists want to make it to the pro level, dividing the sport between amateurs and professionals. CGTN's Tuli Shabalala now explains.
Bicycles were introduced in the 19th century, and over the years, cycling has been regarded as one of the most effective and efficient modes of transport, with an estimated 1 billion bikes worldwide. With an increased call for people to become more environmentally conscious, cycling is viewed to be one of the possible global warming solutions, as it offers a reduced consumption of fossil fuels, less air or noise pollution, reduced traffic congestion, along with sustainable physical exercise. In the 1890s, a period which was referred to as the golden age of cycling, bicycles started becoming more of sporting utilities, with major cities in Europe hosting competitions. In 1903, the start of Tour de France captured the attention of the sporting world, opening a whole new world of competition. With time, bicycles evolved into different forms.
So basically, there's a mountain bike like this one, which has quite big tires and thick treads. There's one called a hybrid and a road bike. Now a hybrid is a mix between a mountain bike and a road bike. So you can go off-road with it and still cycle on the road with it. But a road bike is purely for road bike, for the road only. Yes, so those ones are usually the ones we use to race, the road bikes. They are lighter, they are faster, depending on the material that's been used to build them. Normally, it's either steel, aluminium, or carbon fiber. Very rarely do we get titanium bikes, but they're also there. But they're very rare because they're also very expensive.
These different types of bicycles led to an introduction of racing formats, which in turn led to an increase in professional competitions like the road racing, BMX racing, mountain racing, and track cycling, amongst many others. These have made the professional sport grow, attracting millions of athletes and fans from across the globe. On the other hand, amateur or fun riders have also not been left behind. Due to the high demand that comes with being a professional athlete, those who are not interested have bridged the gap by becoming hobby riders. Across the continent, many clubs have been formed with the aim of riding either for fun or charity, or both. These have been crucial in growing and developing cycling as a sport in Africa. Despite cycling just for fun, many of these riders do hundreds of kilometers.
So I've done Tour de Machakos, which is a 4-day race in Machakos County. Then I've also done a few mountain biking races, which include the Mount Kenya Epic, which is organized by David Kinja. Then internationally, I've also done Lesotho Sky, which is a race that was held in Lesotho. It was a 6-day race. So this was last year. So this year we were supposed to participate again, but COVID happened. So yeah, it was cancelled, but I'm hoping to go back again next year.
Africa is slowly but surely embracing both professional and amateur cycling. And with the continent opening up to different types of sports, cycling looks to be one of the sports of the future. Tuli Shabalala, CGTN.
And that's all we have for you on this edition of Sports Scene. Thanks for watching. Do remember you